Unleash the power of PPC with our first-rate pay-per-click agency. Turn PPC from a spend line into a predictable pipeline channel. In B2B, we've all seen the same pattern. Leadership wants pipeline immediately. Marketing is measured on activity, and sales is pushing hard on outbound, while the dashboard barely moves. PPC often shows up as the quick fix, but without discipline, it becomes an expensive stream of clicks that never turn into real conversations. The opportunity is that a first-rate pay-per-click agency can make PPC one of your highest intent and most measurable sources of demand. The difference comes down to treating PPC like a revenue system, not a campaign. When your paid programs are built around intent, tied to strong offers, and connected to a tight SDR motion, you get something rare in B2B, a lever you can pull to reliably create meetings. And because paid demand is measurable down to the keyword, audience, and creative, you can learn what messages actually move buyers toward a decision. This matters more than ever because paid leads are not cheap. Across industries, average cost per lead sits around $70.11, but B2B programs commonly run much higher. And that means every handoff from click to first conversation has to be engineered for speed and quality. If you're investing in PPC without the follow-up muscle, you're paying premium prices for leads that decay before sales even sees them. Why PPC wins in modern B2B buying journeys. B2B buyers do their homework without you. Research shared by LinkedIn, citing SiriusDecisions, points to roughly 67% of the buyer journey happening digitally before a prospect ever talks to sales, which means your brand has to show up during research, not after it. Paid search and paid social are how you consistently get in front of in-market buyers at the exact moment they're comparing solutions. When PPC is set up around intent, it produces higher quality traffic than many teams expect. Some benchmarks report PPC visitors are about 50% more likely to convert than organic traffic, and businesses often see roughly $2 in revenue for every $1 spent on Google Ads on average. That doesn't guarantee profitability for every B2B team, but it does prove PPC can be a revenue channel when you optimize beyond clicks. The key is setting expectations with real benchmarks, then measuring down-funnel performance against them. A healthy B2B PPC program should be evaluated on cost per meeting, cost per opportunity, and ultimately cost per closed one, because cheap leads are meaningless if they never convert into pipeline. What a first-rate pay-per-click agency actually does. A lot of agencies can run ads. A first-rate partner builds a revenue machine that starts with your ICP, your sales motion, and your offers, then works backward into keywords, audiences, and creative. If an agency begins with "send us keywords," it's a warning sign that they'll optimize for platform metrics rather than pipeline outcomes. In B2B, the most common failure mode is optimizing to cost per click instead of cost per opportunity. Cheaper clicks often come from broad, low-intent queries that create form fills your SDRs can't qualify, which burns time and inflates your true acquisition costs. The right agency pushes you toward narrower, higher-intent targeting even if CPC increases, because that's how you get meetings and closed-won deals, not just traffic. A first-rate PPC partner also behaves like part of the revenue team. They plug directly into your CRM and attribution model, ask for win-loss feedback, and show up to pipeline reviews to learn which campaigns generate real sales conversations. You don't want a vendor defending click-through rate. You want a partner accountable to cost per meeting, opportunity creation, and revenue. Build the high-intent engine: channels, offers, and landing page fit. Strong B2B PPC programs usually blend intent capture with intent creation. Search, Google and Microsoft, captures buyers who are already looking, while LinkedIn helps you reach the exact titles and companies you care about before they search. Retargeting then keeps you present across the consideration window, especially for longer sales cycles where a buyer might engage multiple times before raising their hand. LinkedIn deserves special attention in B2B. Around 89% of B2B marketers use LinkedIn for lead generation, and LinkedIn lead gen forms average about a 13% conversion rate, well above the typical landing page rate most teams see. That's not an excuse to collect low-quality leads. It's a reason to use better form fields and route those leads into a dedicated SDR cadence that references the exact offer. Offer design is where many teams miss. If every ad sends to a generic request a demo page, you force early-stage researchers into a late-stage action, which depresses conversion and confuses sales follow-up. Instead, align offers to intent. Use ungated education for early-stage buyers, ROI tools or assessments for mid-funnel, and demos or consultations for high-intent searches. Then, match every ad to a landing page that mirrors the same promise, language, and next step. In B2B, PPC leads are a premium tier. If you don't follow up fast and with context, you're paying top dollar to lose to a competitor who simply called first. Make paid leads convert. Align PPC with SDR execution. PPC doesn't close deals, people do. Once someone fills out a form, the clock starts, especially on high-intent search where prospects are evaluating multiple vendors at once. That's why we recommend treating paid leads as a premium routing tier with tighter SLAs, more experienced reps, and outreach that references the exact keyword, ad, or offer the prospect engaged with. This is where a strong SDR agency or outsourced sales team can change the economics. If your in-house team can't respond quickly and consistently, pairing your paid program with sales outsourcing support, phone, email, and LinkedIn touches helps you capture demand while it's hot. At SalesHive, we build follow-up sequences that feel personal, not automated, and use the same discipline you'd expect from a cold email agency or cold calling agency. Clear talk tracks, multi-touch cadences, and fast feedback loops into marketing. The goal isn't more MQLs, it's more conversations that convert into meetings and pipeline. When PPC and SDRs operate as one system, you can run PPC as always-on demand capture while continuing outbound into your ideal accounts, effectively combining inbound intent with a proactive outbound sales agency motion. This is how you turn expensive clicks into predictable, booked meetings. Common PPC mistakes that kill ROI and how to fix them. One of the most expensive mistakes is treating PPC as a standalone marketing tactic, disconnected from sales development. When paid leads get dumped into a generic nurture track, or worse, sit untouched, your CPL becomes irrelevant because you're not buying pipeline, you're buying wasted opportunity. Fix this by mapping the PPC to SDR workflow from click to first conversation. Then, setting explicit SLAs and ownership for every handoff. Another common issue is using generic landing pages and forms for every campaign. When ad messaging doesn't match the landing page, conversion rates drop, and your SDRs have no context for follow-up beyond downloaded white paper. The fix is straightforward. Create campaign-specific pages, ask a small number of high-signal questions, role, use case, timeline, and pass those fields into your CRM so qualification starts before the first call. Finally, don't expect PPC to fix a broken offer or sales process. If positioning is unclear, pricing is misaligned, or your close rates are weak, PPC will simply help you fail faster and more expensively, especially when B2B CPLs can reach $463. Use PPC as a testing environment for messaging and offers, but address conversion and enablement issues before you scale budgets. Optimize for pipeline, what to measure and how to improve faster. A disciplined B2B program measures what the business actually cares about: cost per booked meeting, cost per sales qualified opportunity, pipeline created, and revenue. Leads and clicks are diagnostic metrics, not success metrics, because they don't tell you whether your spend is producing deals. If you want a first-rate agency, require reporting that ties campaigns to opportunities and closed won in your CRM, not a monthly slide deck of impressions. PPC also works best when it warms up outbound rather than replacing it. Retarget the same accounts and job titles your SDRs are pursuing, so prospects see your message before a cold call or email lands. Then have your team follow up within 24 to 48 hours when engagement spikes. This turns cold outreach into a more familiar touch and helps your cold calling services and LinkedIn outreach services perform better without increasing rep effort. To keep momentum, commit to a steady experimentation cadence that is grounded in sales feedback. Each quarter, test new keyword clusters, new mid-funnel offers like assessments or ROI tools, and new persona-specific creative. Then review results with sales leadership to see what's driving real conversations. When the loop is tight, you'll naturally cut what looks good in platform and scale what produces pipeline. Next steps: a practical plan to scale PPC without wasting spend. Start with a simple audit. Trace one paid lead from click to first conversation and document every system and person it touches. Measure real response times, identify where leads stall, and confirm whether SDRs can see the ad, keyword, and offer that generated the conversion. This one exercise usually reveals the biggest ROI leaks: routing delays, missing context, and inconsistent follow-up. Then define a small set of high-intent offers that are designed specifically for paid traffic. A strong mix usually includes one mid-funnel offer, assessment, benchmark, calculator, and one bottom-funnel offer, demo, or consultation, each with its own landing page and SDR talk track. When the offer, landing page, and follow-up message all reinforce the same promise, you'll see conversion rates stabilize and lead quality improve. Finally, align your partners around revenue outcomes. Your pay-per-click agency should be measured on down-funnel metrics, and your sales development agency should be staffed and enabled to handle paid leads as a premium tier. Whether you build in-house or hire SDRs through an outsourced model, the principle stays the same. PPC creates demand, and a tight SDR process turns that demand into meetings, opportunities, and closed-won revenue.